What is soul? Where is it situated? And how do we believe it exists?
There's different names. Some call it a soul, some the spirit. In the East, the atma. The atma means three things: I, the living, the dweller in the costume.
Okay.
And in psychology, sometimes they call it the psyche. But it's the consciousness, the soul. And the extraordinary thing is we can't see a soul. We can't measure a soul. A soul is non-physical consciousness. Can you say my thought was 4 inches long and red and had a black spot at one end? They are non-physical things, but we feel them,
Right.
And this is where, when we become so physically orientated, it's hard to describe it. The soul sits in the front of the brain around the pituitary gland. And the consciousness, even when they do brain scans, all the light comes from that point.
Right. Wow.
And so just when you sort of think, I'm a soul, this point, I'm immortal and eternal, I always exist. And just think, I sit on the throne here and I start to forget who I am and I start to think I'm a temporary body. The result? Absolute terror of death, of leaving this body, which is the most natural thing of human life. We are all going to die, the most inevitable thing in life. And yet the more the soul attaches to this identity, to the identities of my family, to things in life and roles, I just build fear into my life. The law says the more I become dependent, I fear losing that I'm dependent on. So fear and attachment go hand in hand together. And because we become so attached, and this is why anxiety, if you ask any psychologist today, it's exponential, going through the roof. Because we have so much fear of things happening in this world, we hold on even stronger. And it becomes a terror. And I mean, it's really sad, because anxiety, you can't sleep well, you can't enjoy life. And yet, when I begin to know who I am and I can change, I can actually let go. It does take practice. When I sort of know who I am, know why I'm here, know who to connect with, I have tools to actually start to change my...
Can we access the record that we hold in this little soul?
Well, it's like programming. So what happens is a scene of life comes in front of you, and you instantly, beyond time, go back to your database as to how to respond. And that's why, you may see a scene of life and your husband and 2 sons may see it. All of you will react completely differently.
Yeah.
Because you all go back to your databases as to how to respond. For instance, if as a child you were bitten by a dog, so, and you're with your husband and 2 boys, so as soon as you see the dog, you sort of call back, but your 2 boys haven't had that experience. They just run and cuddle the dog, however big it is. Because your past is like a shadow over your present. We're like puppets dancing to the tune of our habits, of our past. And this is the meditation journey, to clear the influence of those habitual mental, emotional patterns that, you sort of want to be happy, but your own nature makes you always worried or fearful. So we're dancing to the tune of our past habitual programming that we have created. And the seed of that is forgetting who I am once again. When I'm not soul conscious, living in the awareness that I'm a soul, and I become bodily conscious, the children of that is fear, is anxiety, is anger, is ego, is dependence, is all these negative emotions which really take the beauty out of life.
Because the soul is synonymous with the word spirit, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And soul to me was a form of music, and spirit, my goodness, Charlie, if somebody said spirit in my life and my family 5 years ago, we would think ghosts.
Yeah.
Here we are, talking about something that's so profound, that we all are spiritual beings, and lots of people I still don't know about it.
But Charlie, for people I know personally who absolutely do not believe in the fact that we're spiritual beings, they're like, prove it. I know that we talked about spirituality being evidence of experience, whereas science is evidence of action. So what can I say beyond you have to try it, you have to feel it?
I never tried to prove anything.
Okay.
because if it works for me, that's the main thing. Everyone is different. We have deep respect for that. And so sometimes what I've found is that people have their own time. And unfortunately, I would say, some people have to go through very hard times to think in a different way. Someone only rang me yesterday and saying he has a brother living in Europe. His lifestyle was just a totally material acquisition, but suddenly he's had a serious health problem that doctors don't think he'll survive from. And it's just such in shock. But I think when you're spiritual, you sort of understand the mechanism of life, because that can never be forever,